When you run Codex debug prompt input, you'll wait a second and it will output the entire context of all the skills and everything that's loaded into the initial prompt input. For example, you'll see things like the current date. You'll see all of the plugins that are loaded. You'll see all of the skills up here and browser use and everything you have installed, which can definitely build up over time. Now, if I run Codex debug prompt input again, and this time pipe it to a tool called count tokens, which I just vibe coded, you'll see the token count is around 14,000 tokens, and that is in a completely empty directory. So if there was an agents.md file or anything else in there in your .codex directory in your project, that could explode even more. And that becomes troublesome if you want to use AI to wrap CLIs for AI-enhanced tooling. For example, if I want to wrap CMux, which has a solid amount of commands and flags, and I can't remember what any of them are or do, and I want to turn that into an AI tool, I don't want all of the project context or global context or anything in there. So I have a custom alias called CXI, which in my mind stands for CMux Interactive. And if I run this, I'll let it trust this directory, and you'll see it defaults to the fastest model available with the lowest reasoning available. And you have a very limited budget on the Codex Spark model. So we want to keep that context count as low as possible. But in this tool, I have it preload developer instructions into Codex so that if I say create 3 new panes and I hit enter, you'll see how quickly it will create those 3 panes. That was in real time. There was no editing there. So again, if I just jump back here and I say, please close those 3 panes, again, we'll watch in real time. I'll hit enter and it will close those 3 panes. Now for me, this is an absolute dream come true. And what we have to do to set this up is if we look at which CXI, which will show us the body of this ZSH function, you'll see all of the various settings and variables I had to set up to get this to work, to ignore all the skills, to ignore the apps that are included from your Codex account, to disable memories, and to give it a system prompt. Now, if you just check the gist down below, it'll have this entire thing which you can copy and paste or tell an agent to copy and paste and implement it for you. But just be aware that if I run CXI now with debug prompt input, you'll see that the entire prompt input for this is everything having to do with CMux. So you see CMux everywhere, and then just a few things around permissions, which we're leaving in, and then CMux instructions, and then just the current date and the current working directory, and the very, very basics which you want to keep in. So if we run that again, and then we count the tokens, you'll see that we've gone from 14,000 plus tokens down to 4,000 tokens, which will make this all much faster. It'll drastically reduce the usage on the Spark model so that we can use it for all of our CMux commands and essentially give us this natural language tool for controlling everything in my terminal. Now, CXI for me is the interactive version, but CX, if I just want to freestyle some things, like rename this tab to strawberry, I'll hit enter, and without going into interactive mode, you can see it rename the tab to strawberry.